number is 928-267-3411.
And we'd like to thank One Town Plumber for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight program. Good morning, Rim Country. Chris Higgins in the studios here at the Sawmill Theater Complex. And today we're going to be talking Payson Little League. Opening day is this Saturday, and it's just a wonderful event. Get out there to the Diamondback Fields and Rumsey Park, cheer on our Little League teams, and support this organization. So in the studio, our board members, Nicole, Lacey, and Nicole. There we go. 2 Nicoles and a Lacey. So they're going to be sharing with you opening day and just more about Payson Little League. And again, this is a great event that we have verified this. Payson Little League has been around since 1968.
Yeah.
So before Payson even became a town, Little League was happening in Payson. So, Nicole, boy, a lot of work goes into opening day, doesn't it?
Yeah, a lot of work does go into opening day. We have around 165 kids. So in having that, we expect anywhere between maybe 300 and 400 people on opening day. So we're really excited this year because we're going to have a bunch of food trucks. So we're going to have the Tamale King, we're going to have Kona Ice, the Philly cheesesteak truck, Lee's Kettle Shack, and we're having a coffee truck, which everyone's excited about, Noiby's Coffee Company. And so we're gonna Noiby's. Yeah,
Wow.
I had to call and ask them to make sure I was getting that right.
That's just fun to say. Noiby's.
So we're really excited because we feel like we're going to be able to offer a really nice food spread for everybody. So you don't need to pack your lunch, just come on down and support our local food trucks. They are all local to Payson, and also catch a game while you're at it.
Nice. So what time do games start Saturday morning?
Games start at 8 a.m. and they play all day from about 8 to 12 in the morning, and then we have opening ceremony from 12:15 to 1, and then we have games that start back up from 1 to about 5 o'clock that evening.
And one of the big, I don't want to say draws, but things that people get excited about are all of the silent auction baskets or items that are out there.
We have quite a bit.
Yeah, so is it each team? Each team puts together a basket?
Each team, so it's one of our fundraisers that we do each year, and each team is required to put together some type of basket. A lot of the times you'll see camping baskets. The big theme this year is going to be baseball survival kits. So, things that you need looking from a mom's perspective, you need that first aid kit, bleacher seats, snacks, sunscreen, all the things that you would need to be there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's some big things that are happening in that world because some teams went above and beyond this year, and I'm super excited for those baskets to come out.
And that's a good way to describe it. That's its own world.
It really is.
Because listening to you talk about, and you want to share like some of the items in these baskets?
Yes.
Do you want to, is that okay to leak that, or?
We'll give some small hints.
Give some small hints?
So some small hints would be things that you could use every day. It is my absolute favorite tool to use for cooking. And it's, so a lot of people know it as a Blackstone, a flat top griddle, something like that. So we definitely have one of those that will be auctioned off. And again, all of the proceeds from these baskets, they go straight back into our program, and it goes to helping pay the umpire fees. It pays for new equipment. We have a new league this year, so we can get more into that later. But all of that money comes right back into the program, so that's the cool thing about it.
Jerseys, do you have to pay for all of the jerseys?
So we
as well,
don't have to pay for the jersey. So we actually kind of switched things up this year. In the past years, we've always included pants, socks, and belts. And this year we decided to not include those because we get the jerseys and hats for free from the Diamondbacks. And so we're part of that program, and with them sponsoring the fields at the Kiwanis Fields or the D-back Fields, that's part of the program that we utilize and get that big portion taken care of by them. This year, instead of the pants, socks, and belts, we are including your picture in the registration
okay.
fee. So we changed it up a little bit. Now we have a photographer that comes up actually from the valley, and she was the same one from last year, and she just gets through the kids really quick, stays on task, and we'll be done with everything by 12.
And I
Yeah.
think that's something that some people had questions about is like, why is every team the Diamondbacks? So
Yeah.
it's because the jerseys are sponsored by the
Yeah.
Diamondbacks, and so we have the different colors and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But you know, it is just something neat that they provide.
I did have a pair ask me that the other day.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, because we're in Arizona, okay? That's why.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, and it's cool because the different jerseys, there's so many different jerseys and the
Yeah.
colors, styles, and so
So
on.
we get to choose, we usually get a handful of selection that we can choose from.
Okay,
This year, we had so many kids, like Nicole was saying, sign up for the minors and majors,
Mhm.
that we have 5 majors teams, 5 minor kid pitch teams, and then 4 machine pitch teams.
Oh, wow.
And
okay.
the cool thing about that too is Lacey's worked really hard this year and in the past years to begin, she's our fundraiser
Mhm.
coordinator, so
Uh-huh.
she hustles and gets all of those teams are sponsored. So not only does it say D-backs on the front,
Yes.
but on the back it has a different sponsor for each team. So we have
Mhm.
14 teams, 14 different sponsors, and that's just for this portion of the league.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I know it used to be a case where, goodness, it was sometimes hard to get your business on the back of a jersey because so many businesses wanted to sponsor.
Right.
And you had so many coaches that either had a business or were involved with a
Yeah.
business. So is it still that way where, I mean, once you put it out there, they fill up pretty quick?
A little, yeah. Sometimes, I mean, a lot of the times we have repeat sponsors. Like, we have a lot of repeat sponsors this year. I think a lot of our teams for majors, almost every coach owns their own business.
Yeah,
So, like, they'll put their names on the back of their team jersey.
gotcha.
But, I mean, I didn't really have a hard time finding sponsors because
Yeah.
it's just everybody wants to do it. Everybody wants to
Yeah.
get their name out there. I even have sponsors who are like on a waiting list for the older teams to try to figure that out too. So if
Yeah.
somebody backs out or whatever,
Yeah.
like it's pretty crazy.
I know, I found mine, I dug mine out the other day, it was before they were all Diamondbacks jersey, and when I coached, being from Pennsylvania, the Phillies, it was always the
Yeah.
Phillies, but I had scoops on the back, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh, I'm like, this is a little tight. Yeah, it's just cool to have the business, you know, your name on there, I know, and then you see businesses throughout the years, Pizza Factory, you know, over the years, they have the pictures, and
Yeah.
now.
We're gonna try to do that. I tried to do that last year, but I think I just ran out of time.
Yeah,
But this year I'm gonna try to get each business like a picture or sponsor, like plaque or whatever, so that way they can hang in their business.
yeah, and when you say you ran out of time, it's no joke. I mean, I want to applaud the 3 of you, everyone else on the Little League board, because it is a lot of work to, you know, get the season together, the sign-ups, the tryouts, or the skills assessment, or the
Yeah.
still, yeah, and opening day, the season, and then it's not done, because then you go into All-Stars.
Yeah.
It's like a full-time job.
And,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the older boys have their season later.
Yeah.
So we have the
Intermediate.
intermediates,
Intermediates,
juniors.
juniors.
and seniors.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that goes through,
That starts at the beginning
June.
of June and
Yeah.
goes all the way through June, and then All-Stars start at the end of June and go into July.
Yeah,
And we tend to host for All-Stars. We're kind of turning into, a lot of people want to come here.
yes.
So,
Well, I know, and that's something that Ken
Yeah.
Schneider, you know, Little League president for, oh my gosh, I think over 20 years.
Yeah,
or
he was
so.
there for a
he was
while.
there for a while.
Yeah, there for a while, so thank you, Ken. But that was his goal, is to, you know, get Payson set up to where we could host the, you know, different tournaments, the All-Star
Yeah.
tournaments, and, yeah, because Payson, like you said, people want to come, teams want to come.
Cooler
It's like,
weather.
yeah,
nice
well,
time.
I hope no one from this area is listening, but you have Nogales or Payson?
Yeah.
Well, and the
It
travel
was rough
time.
in Nogales. We went
Yeah.
last year, and it was like 100 and I swear 112 degrees. Kids were like
Yeah.
passing out. And I'm like, oh my
Well,
gosh.
and also travel. I mean,
Yeah, travel time was,
it's
hard.
only close to people in Tucson.
Right.
But everywhere else in the state, imagine if you're going from Flagstaff, Winslow,
Yeah.
down to Nogales, oh my God.
When I tried, like last year, I think I had, or was it last year? No, the year before last, we went to Nogales.
Mhm.
And I ended up getting sponsors to help pay
Yeah.
for some of those rooms for the kids and the parents.
Mhm.
I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just-
So if I'm working on it, if we do end up having to travel to Nogales or somewhere,
Mhm.
like whatever teams are going to travel. So if you want to sponsor.
Yeah, and that's where there's so many opportunities, you know, if people ask or are wondering, well, what are you raising money for? I mean,
Yeah.
what really are the costs if, you know, the jerseys are provided by APS, and but all of the travel fees, the umpires. So providing or paying for umpires for an entire season, that has to be a decent cost, I would
Yeah,
imagine.
I think last year it was in the thousands of what
Yeah.
we paid out. It was almost 10 grand on what we
Mhm.
spent on just umpires alone. But that, we also had a bigger showing for All-Star tournaments.
Oh, okay.
So last year, we were able to host state for
Yes,
intermediates,
right.
which that was the first time that we've gotten to do that.
Mhm.
And the feedback that I had received from everybody, it was just insane. Like, everybody's like, we want to come back. So we're hoping to host more, you know, bigger tournaments, not just the divisionals and areas. We want to get into the state stuff as well.
Well, and there's things that people probably don't even realize, like building a pitcher's mound
Mhm.
and just the
Mhm.
cost that
Yeah.
goes into
Field
it.
maintenance.
Yeah.
Because
field
it has to be built with a certain type of clay.
Mhm.
And, you know, and then every night the field has to be prepped. And
Mhm.
so you have to, you know, there's money for the chalk. And then this year we were actually able to get a machine that does spray paint.
Yeah.
So it makes it a
Ooh.
little
That
bit
makes it-
easier.
Wow, so it's not, so
So-
you're not putting, well, you're still chalking the infield?
Yeah.
So we won't
It's
have
just-
any chalk at all. It'll all be spray painted
Oh,
down.
wow.
Mhm.
So we've done some upgrades there.
Nice.
Yeah, that was one thing
Yeah.
that we wanted to try to do better.
Mhm.
You know, make the fields a little bit more presentable and stuff.
Mhm.
Lance with Tree Crafters,
Yeah.
he came out and donated his time, so we say a huge thank you to him.
Yes.
Because he was able to trim back the trees on room C3.
That's right.
And it was to the point where like the balls would get stuck up in the tree because they were so thick and like over the top of the fence.
Yeah, the backstop, right?
Yeah.
It was over the
Backstop?
backstop and then
Wow.
down the third baseline. So
Wow.
he was able to come out already and it made a
was
world of a
awesome.
difference.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And then field Rumsey 3 also, heard you have the permanent mound, which is nice,
Yeah.
Yep.
the permanent pitcher's mound.
Mhm.
So really
Yep, and we
nice.
had, so all of us, like with the board, we all volunteer, so it's all volunteer
Wait, you don't
basis.
get paid. Wait a
I get paid in
second.
compliments,
You
but
get
that's about
paid
it.
in
High
compliments.
fives and compliments.
Yeah, high fives. Yeah, boom. There you go.
But
Yeah.
it's been really amazing because there's been so many people like outside of our board that have stepped up and helped in regards to, like she was saying, with the new mound that we installed this year. It was a coach that came in and was like, I know a lot of science behind this, and he did it all.
Yeah.
He got the right kind of clay that we needed and everything like that. So that mound was completely rebuilt. Once intermediate start, then we also have full run of Rumsey 2.
Nice.
So
Okay.
yeah, so we're gonna end up being able to put on a permanent mound there. We won't be able to leave it up year round just
Gotcha.
because of like Greasy Hot and any other softball tournaments that come in,
Yeah.
because they utilize that field. But
Mhm.
it's been awesome. Like working with Payson Parks, like they've been great in regards to like helping with anything that we could need.
Yeah, Justin. We're going
Justin.
Justin. Shout out to Justin.
Yeah,
There you
and
go.
Cole, he's the new field guy,
Oh,
or the field
okay.
maintenance coordinator, I think is what his
Oh,
title
okay.
is, something like that. But they've been tremendous at like, I mean, pretty much if we need it, if they can't do it, then they're trying to figure out how they can help us to make it happen.
That's great. That is great to hear. Well, if you're just tuning in or just started watching on our KRIM Radio Facebook page, talking Payson Little League with Nicole, Lacey, and Nicole, all on the Payson Little League baseball board. And that's something that has changed recently, I think last year, first year, Payson Little League baseball, and now we have Payson Little League softball.
So they're
think
actually
it's
called
Rim
Rim
Country.
Country Little League is gonna be for softball.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah.
Rim Country Little League softball. So opening day is just baseball.
Yes.
And again, games start at 8 o'clock, the opening ceremony's at 12:15, and the last game scheduled to be at 3 o'clock.
Yes.
So, boy, that is a full day because you will be out there, if games start at 8, you'll be out there kind of early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Setting up.
Getting up bright and early, getting everything ready.
Yes.
Yeah, so good thing that coffee cart is there.
Yeah.
Coffee trailer. Did you tell them to be there really early
We
too?
did, yes, we did ask them
We
to
did
be
get there at
there bright and
6,
early and ready to get everyone fueled and ready to go for
Nice.
sure.
And then, so you mentioned the sponsorships, jerseys, businesses, also banners.
Yeah.
A lot of companies or businesses were able to sponsor through banners, right?
Yeah, so we have an option, actually, I changed it this year, well, we changed it this year. Since we have Rumsey 2 and Rumsey 3, you can do 2 banners. So normally if you do like a team sponsorship, you'll get your team sponsorship and you'll get a banner. And then this year you can just buy 1 banner, I think it's like $100 and it'll go on one of the fields. Or if you want to do 2 banners for Rumsey 2 and Rumsey 3, it's $150, and that's your donation to the league. And so then you'll get both banners up on both fields.
Cool.
And anyone wanting a banner, Printing by George has
Oh, yeah,
been
Printing
taking
by
care of all
George.
the banners, and they just do a really great job.
Mhm.
And
And
they get
he's
things
got a
pretty
quick
quick.
turnaround too,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
he's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that is great. So, mentioned, wow, 165 players baseball, just
Mhm.
for
And
baseball.
that's just the young kids. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
not
even
counting the older
including intermediates. That's not
Oh,
including
wow.
juniors or seniors.
Yeah.
So
So there'll be over 200, easily over
I'm
200.
I think so, yeah.
the amount of kids that we had sign up this year was I have the goosebumps.
I
right
know,
now.
I did too.
It makes me quite emotional, to be honest with you, to see how many kids we had signed up this year. But on top of that, the coaches that signed up this year to help
okay.
coach the kids, we have a solid group. Like
Yes.
they, I can't say enough things. I'm so excited for this season.
Wow. Yeah, because that's a big part. All the coaches,
Mhm.
obviously volunteering. You have at least maybe 2 to 3 coaches per team?
2 to 3 coaches per team, so we have a manager and then the 2 assistants.
Gotcha.
And it's a lot. It's a lot of their time. They put in multiple practices a week, and they put a lot into those kids, and just all the steps they have to go through to even become a coach.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
have to go
Mhm.
through background checks, and they have to take an abuse awareness course, and there's
Yeah.
just a lot that goes into it. So you don't just get to say, "Hey, I want to be a coach." You know,
Yeah.
it's,
And
it's
just
a lot
show
of
up,
work
yeah.
and dedication for sure. So,
Mhm.
but we couldn't do it without them. So we're very
Yeah.
thankful for sure.
No, that's good. And then you mentioned, and we talked about umpires. That's a big part as well,
Mhm.
because I remember over some of the years where umpires are very hard to find or come
Yeah.
by.
So we have a new umpire in chief this year, and it
Okay.
is Ken.
Oh!
didn't
Get
leave.
away.
So Ken did not leave,
Ken,
but we're
umpire in
super
chief.
excited about that because he has a great network with already
Uh-huh.
being involved and in previous years, and he's really just taken that and ran with it. I know they had a meeting the other night, and he's getting kids involved again, which is
Mhm.
nice, but
Yeah.
he's also like still holding them to a certain standard, and so he has one, I know for like our machine pitch league, which
Mhm.
is gonna be the little bit of the younger kids, so it's a step above coach pitch, it's all just based off the machine. That one, they'll have one umpire, and then the other 2 leagues, so it'd be minor kid pitch and then majors,
Mhm.
he's planning on having 2 umpires hopefully for each game.
Mm.
And I think to do the umpires, I think you have to be in 9th grade.
Yeah.
Because my
Gotcha.
14-year-old's in 8th grade, and he really wanted to do it, but he's just not quite old enough yet.
Yeah.
I know, my
Uh,
nephew called me yesterday and he's like,
yeah.
"You get to umpire some of your games." I was like, "That's awesome."
So keep in mind, parents, if you're at these games and you see these kids out there
Yeah.
umpiring, just give them a little grace and
Oh,
just
yeah.
appreciation because they're out there and they're giving it their best,
Yeah, do not yell at the kid umpires, okay? Parents,
They'll have to sit in
come
the parking
on.
lot.
I know, yeah, you will be sent to your car. You'll be sent to the parking lot. Get out of here.
You can yell at the adults, but don't yell at the kids.
Yeah. Now, I wonder, boy, if Ken got Casey Parker back too, that would be, oh my God,
So,
he's been there for a while.
I will say, Casey helped us last year during All-Stars.
Okay.
And I can tell you that he was a huge hit. Him and his son Tyler, and
Yeah,
then Hunter Harold, they
Oh,
all three
wow.
stepped up for last year doing the All-Star tournament.
Yeah,
And
goodness, yeah, because I remember Hunter and Casey's and
Tyler.
when they were doing it and they were in high school.
Yeah. Yeah, so they stepped up last year, and I believe, I don't want to say for sure, but
Don't
I
jinx
believe
it.
that he's involved at some point.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
He has baseball in his veins.
Oh, he
Oh,
does.
yeah.
In his
He
blood.
does.
So, yeah, loves baseball.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was great. So I attend like all the district meetings with being the president, and so whenever I attended the last one and they were talking about all-stars, they
Yeah.
complimented our umpires, like all of them
Yeah.
across the board, and I was like, oh, that's huge, like,
Yeah.
because we've hit some rough patches with some
Yeah.
umpires, you know, in previous years, so it was great to hear that they all loved that,
Yeah.
especially that group. They
Mhm.
were like the main ones that we
Yeah.
had for all-stars, so it was awesome. And I
Yeah.
know there's the Greasy brothers, there's like three of them,
Oh, yeah.
3 or
they-
4 of
yeah.
them that help out every year, and
They were at Rosati's, right? Yeah, the
Yeah.
brothers. And,
Yep.
Yeah, oh, yeah, great.
So great
young
people.
guys.
I mean,
Yeah.
we just, like I said, we've had a lot of people step up this year, and it's going in a really positive direction.
Yeah. And that's boy, umping, refereeing, that can be a tough one because,
Mhm.
you know, everyone, we're human, you know, make mistakes, but like you said, they used the G word, the grace.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, please, you know, show the umps that grace because,
Yeah.
if you don't have the umps, then
Mm-mm.
Yeah. No game.
No game, no
Yep.
game. Yeah, it makes it difficult.
I
So
think-
again, I was
Oh,
just gonna
I was
say,
just gonna say, I think
Yeah.
sometimes as parents we forget that it's little league and not,
Yeah.
and I'm guilty of it myself sometimes too,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Yeah.
But sometimes we just gotta take a step back and be like, oh,
yeah. Well, yeah,
this is little
because,
league,
well, yeah,
not major league.
well, because most of the people involved are competitive.
Mhm,
There's
exactly.
that competitiveness. You want your child to be, you know, trying their hardest and, you know, trying to win.
Yeah.
And, all right, you know, and very competitive. But at the end of the day, you know, if they're not having fun and it isn't fun for them,
Right.
then how
Mhm.
likely are they going to want to play next year and
Exactly.
play
Yeah.
again if it isn't a fun experience? And even, I guess, you know, the kids, you know, it can be stressful for them. They can be
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah,
some
lots of
anxiety,
pressure.
pressure, yeah.
Well, imagine,
Yeah.
it's not like a basketball game where all these people are running up and down the court.
Yeah.
Like, you're literally getting up there in front of all these people and you're batting and all the eyes are on you and
It's
or
like
you're
a-
the pitcher
Yeah.
and all the eyes are on you. So there definitely is a level of stress and anxiety that's there for some of
Yeah.
these kiddos, and then they relax. And I have to say, one of the things I've enjoyed over the years is seeing these kiddos who are maybe just brand new to it and seeing them get started in the season, and then you just see their confidence grow and grow and grow. And by the end of the season, they've just come so far.
Yeah.
You know, so it really is kind of neat
It's
to
been-
see.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite things to watch is each kid just grow individually. And it's not even just baseball. You watch them mature just in life, really.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
That's been-
confidence, because that
Yeah.
carries over into life.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about that sport,
Mhm.
Right.
but, you know, in school, in a job,
Yep.
and just believing in yourself,
Absolutely.
you know, having that confidence. Yeah, it's great. And then also the team camaraderie.
Yeah.
That has to be good to see, because if you get some kids that, if they know each other, they're friends, then, you know,
Right.
obviously they're close, but then, you know, you get kids that don't know each other, and they're on a team, and they're encouraging each other, supporting each other, celebrating
Yeah.
with each other, maybe consoling each other when, you know, something bad happens, and that has to be cool to see too.
Yeah.
I'll
For
have to
sure.
say, like, with how we determine who's on which team, it's
Mhm.
done by a draft. So at the skills assessment day, or some people used to refer to it as tryouts, the coaches spend literally all day,
All day.
Yeah.
all day.
Oh.
We were there this last year, this for this season. I don't think we've ever been there past 12, and we were there until 2 this year because we had such a tremendous amount
Turnout.
of yeah.
So many kids.
I'm
Yeah.
blown away by it still, but we then go into a coaches meeting after the draft is done, or I'm sorry, after the tryouts are done, and then we do a draft after that. So
Yeah.
you don't get a team that has just all like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
at the
friends,
front.
you know,
Yeah.
like all
Yep.
together because
Yeah.
it goes in a snake draft. And so,
Yeah.
you know, like, oh yeah, I'll get your kid next round. Well, by that time you get back to you,
He's
that
gone.
kid
He's
could be
gone.
gone.
He's on another
And most
team.
likely is gone, you
Yeah.
know, so it's kind of cool because you get to see like, and the teams are drafted that way every year. So usually kids aren't on the same teams unless the coaches are coaching together.
Yeah, I just, I remember that, the drafts, and also, if you have siblings, sometimes, and it's like, they're
They're a
what is it,
deal.
a deal.
They're a deal.
They're a deal.
They go
Yeah,
together.
they go together, because you can't split them up into games over here and there.
Yeah.
So I remember the one year, the Bowman boys, I got them, they were a deal, package deal.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's great. It's so much fun. Yeah. So again, opening day is this Saturday. First game at 8 o'clock. Opening ceremonies at 12:15. Final game at 3. And these are at the Diamondback Fields there in Rumsey Park. Also with the vendors, we mentioned Tamale King, Kona Ice, Philly Truck, Lee's Kettle Corn, the Noibies Coffee. What's cool is come out, get food from these guys, because not only are you supporting local vendors, but they contribute a portion of their sales to Payson Little League.
Absolutely, yeah. So we're really excited about that. We're also gonna have James with AZO Printing, who's going to be there making custom shirts. So for any parents or grandparents who are gonna be down there, or just, you know, if you want a Little League shirt, there's gonna be shirts and sweaters. And again, we talked about the silent auction baskets. There's gonna be some really, really amazing things this year.
Yes.
And we cannot stress the really amazing things without just giving it away. We'd like it to be a surprise, but there's just something really unique and new this year. But we also do a 50-50, something we haven't mentioned yet. We do a 50-50 raffle that day. So that's something that is really neat. And then, you know, you put into the raffle and you have a chance of winning 50% of the proceeds. So that's kind of cool.
There you go. And then also national anthem sung
Yes.
by local student or one of the students.
Yeah, we do have a local student, Zeveline Wrench, who's going to be singing the national anthem this year. We're also going to be having Ted Pettit throw our first pitch, and that's really special to us and important. He's just somebody who's been involved over the years and really just a Payson icon and someone everyone knows, really,
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, before the program, talking about, you know, Payson Little League starting in 1968, I have to believe Ted Pettit was involved somehow in
yeah,
that, because I know he
absolutely.
was, you know, one of the
He was
baseball
involved
coaches.
up to last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he still is donating, he donated all of the game balls last year.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So, I
Oh.
mean, just all the way up until then as
Yeah.
well. So, we definitely wanted to, you know, see if he could come out and throw that first pitch just to
How awesome.
recognize him. He's a great guy.
He is. Oh, man, that's really cool. So, anything else? Anything else at all? Because it's about
Yeah,
that
well, we're
time.
of course thankful for you because you're gonna be there for
Yes.
us
Oh,
on
yeah.
opening day.
Thank
You're gonna be
you.
our DJ and you're gonna be like
Yeah.
announcing some of this for our
Yes.
opening ceremony and stuff. So we are
Yes.
thankful for you, Chris,
Hey.
and gonna be there and help support us.
No, you are very welcome. Yeah, bring the speakers out. And I think, Nicole, last year you, took the microphone and
Yeah, I'll be doing
got
it
it done.
again.
There we go.
I already
Yeah.
have my speech written.
Perfect.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Because I remember, who was it? Michelle Marinelli always had to like, hey, or Stevie Santana. Okay, which one of you guys? You're like, give it to Michelle. And Michelle's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Ken was very good with volunteering me.
Volunteering.
Oh yeah, volunteering.
Volunteering.
He was not, I was not
Volunteering.
volunteered. He was
No.
volunteering me.
volunteer.
Good one.
The last 2 years, so
There you go.
Yeah.
It's good.
whenever it comes to this, I'm comfortable, so I
Yeah.
don't mind doing it.
And what's so cool, opening ceremony, is all the teams,
Yes.
like recognizing all the teams, the
Mhm.
coaches, and having them out on the field for that picture.
Yeah.
It looks so cool.
Yeah,
It does.
it is
You
really neat.
know, and the kids probably love that too.
Yeah.
Softball, we wanted to
I was
touch
gonna
on
say,
real
that's what I
quick.
was gonna
Softball,
say
go ahead,
too.
Nicole.
So this year we decided to create a new league. So that's something that we did differently this year. So we have a machine pitch league this year for ages 5 to 8, I believe it is, or 5. I think some 10-year-olds can play, up to
Okay.
10-year-olds can play as well. We decided to go this route and link hands with both Payson Parks, and then also Rim Country Little League, which is the softball program here in town. They are doing a co-ed coach pitch league this year. So if you have those kids that are still interested in doing coach pitch, they still have availability, and Heidi with Rim Country Little League will be there at a table for signups. So that'll be something else that will be there as well. But the machine pitch league that we decided to do this year, we noticed that there was a little bit of a gap between going from coach pitch into kid pitch, and we were one of the only leagues left in our division that was still utilizing a machine in our kid pitch league for our minor leagues. And so we decided to create this league, and it's all machine pitch with towards the end of the year, or I'm sorry, the end of the season, they will incorporate kid pitching into the end of it. So not only is it going to develop stronger hitters, but in the kid pitch league, it's going to develop stronger pitchers. And that was one thing that we did notice this year, or I'm sorry, last year. They went to All-Stars and actually made it all the way to the championship game.
Wow.
And I think it's because we were able to have a lot more pitchers involved, where in previous years we didn't have that, because we had utilized both kids pitching for the first 2 innings, and then it would go to the machine would be pitching for the rest of the game. And now for that league, they pitch the whole game.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's one big change that we made this year.
Gotcha. And then the softball Rim Country Little League, their opening day, April 12th.
Yes,
And I believe that starts at 9 a.m.
I believe so too.
It's the opening ceremony there at the Diamondback Fields. So, well, thank you so much, Nicole,
thank
Lacey,
you.
Thanks for
Nicole,
having
for
us.
coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, you are so welcome. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching this morning. Also, thank you to One Tom Plumber for sponsoring our KRIM Community Spotlight program. Time to get back to the music here on KRIM, but first, we're going to get a quick update from the National Weather Service.
With this morning's game.
There you go, mics are down. And